Hey folks, everything new under the sun. I was looking back in my archives for a video series I did about the ancient Galilean wedding. Couldn't find it. I'm not sure if it's one of the videos I had deleted at some point, but I'm going to put that together for you and maybe release it tonight. I think it's important. It goes through the whole timeline of the return of the Lord, why I believe the year 6000 is the end of 6,000 years of man on earth, and really the timing of the rapture and where I see it, biblically speaking. And unfortunately, it was part 3 of this ancient Galilee wedding Bible prophecy slideshow that I did. I've lost the first 2 parts of it, so I may have to talk about this again. But that's kind of what's coming up. So a little behind the scenes look at what I'm working on right now. Pattern is prophecy. This is the Jewish idea or tradition, and that's absolutely true. And I believe in many cases in the Bible. Now, as it relates to current information, I want to bring you up to speed on a couple of odd things. First of all, let's go to this article here. This is Zero Hedge. Russia's largest chemical plant engulfed in flames hours after mystery fire at a military research facility. Now, this is recent news. The last, what was it, yesterday? I think this latest chemical plant went on fire. There's an image of it. And it's obviously, the timing of it is obviously very odd. First, there was a research facility that caught on fire, and then this chemical fire, which effectively destroyed the plant there. I think it's one of Russia's largest chemical plants. And so this is very interesting. And there have been people that have died from this. So this idea of fires in Russia, while not unexpected, when 2 of these happen in close proximity, something's odd. We also have a situation in the U.S. where there was a big fire in, I think, what was it, a Tyler Foods corporate office or something like that. Big fire there, and odd things, weird things happening as it relates to the supply chain, the food chain in the U.S. as well. We already know of cyber attacks on the oil pipeline, for example, on the East Coast. And there's been other cyber attacks, ransomware attacks on I can't think of the name of the supplier, but the pork processing plants and the butchering plants. So cyber attacks have already been going on, and this, to me, is too suspicious, too coincidental not to be effectively some sort of cyber attack or covert operation, whether it's by the Ukrainians or external help. We've already had Russia coming out and saying, you know what, we're already fighting against NATO. Now, the latest thing is, again, and this is going to ratchet it up. This is going to really put Putin in a corner. If he's not, and he's already in a corner. He can't save face in Ukraine. He can't pull out anymore. And there's tension rising with Taiwan and China and the U.S. as well, with China threatening the U.S. And saying that Taiwan is theirs, etc. But this is the latest thing. 2 Russian oligarchs found dead just 1 day apart. Now what's going on here is, how can 2 families apparently be killed here? The bodies of 2 Russian oligarchs were found alongside their wives and children just 1 day apart. When big, rich oligarchs all of a sudden start dying, something's up. Now, again, what's going on here? The first was Vladislav Avayev, formerly vice president of a Gazprom bank. He was found killed by a gunshot wound in his Moscow apartment. So in Russia, Russian state news says police are looking into a theory that Avayev shot his wife and children and then himself. Of course, they're going to say that suicide. But when this happens, I mean, these guys are rich. There's no reason for him to kill himself. And so this is, suspect to be sure. Although the names of the victims were not included in a public statement from the Russian government, TASS said the unnamed source later confirmed their identities. Investigators said in their statement they believe Avayev shot his wife and daughter and then himself. Second oligarch was found killed in Spain, so outside of Russia. So what's going on here? Is Putin going after these people? Is he upset with these people? Or is the West doing something? It says his name was Sergei Protosenia, and he was found stabbed to death with his wife and daughter. Again, a whole family, not just one guy. So you had this coincidence where the whole family was killed in close proximity, on the timeline. And this is not a coincidence. Local media outlets had claimed that he was found with a bloody knife and an axe by his side. Of course, they're trying to make these all look like suicides. It just doesn't make sense to me. Even with all the economic sanctions on these guys, I mean, the guy in Russia wouldn't have any economic sanctions on him anyways. And then, but the guy in Spain, he would have had the sanctions on him. He wouldn't have been able to move about. Doesn't make any sense. At the time of their killings, Protosenia, his wife, and the daughter were staying at a rented luxury villa in Lloret de Mar, a coastal Catalan town, for Easter period. He left no suicide note, it says, and there were no bloodstains on his body, so that suggests, again, not a murder-suicide sort of thing. At the time of the killings, he had a personal fortune of $433 million. Again, who's killing these people and why? The family's villa, situated on Spain's Costa Brava, is thought to be the family's second home alongside their residence in France. So, the question is, are Russian assets, forces, government taking these people out for some reason? Why? To get their money? Why would they kill an oligarch in Russia? Or are Western nations or Ukraine mercenaries or something like that going after these people to put pressure on Russia and maybe the other oligarchs to then put pressure on Putin to say, stop this, or they're going to come for us? Very interesting situation, and I'm not sure what's up. I don't think anybody knows what's happening. The point is, with Russia's flagship sunk in the Black Sea, and this happening, and their research and development building burned down, and the largest chemical plant burned down, we are really pushing the bear Putin into a corner where he's going to come out and say, that's it. We are humiliated. We are going to use nuclear weapons. And what just happened, of course? Well, Putin came out and fired off an ICBM with a warning to the West saying, pay attention. We have this capability to send effectively nuclear weapons wherever we want in Europe or North America, effectively, especially with their hypersonic missiles. Folks, we're in the middle of World War III. I don't know how any other way to state it. This is it. We are fighting a war, and we don't know who's going to act out first with, shock and awe or conventional style weapons, or maybe they won't. Maybe the next thing is going to be cyber attacks. And to be honest, I'm surprised there haven't been more cyber attacks. But you got to ask the question: what are these things on these? On the chemical buildings, etc. What is this? Was this a cyber attack on the fire prevention system or some other, just like the centrifuges in Iran where Israel hacked into them and made them spin up until they overheated and blew apart effectively? Is it that sort of idea where they got command and control of some system which allowed something to get too hot and outside of range and it caught fire? That's an easy way to kind of get into these industrial settings and to hack them, to destroy them effectively. So again, the question is, what's going on here? Is this coincidence? It's absolutely not. So something to be thinking about, be prepared for. What do I think is next? I think a cyber attack. I think a massive cyber attack, which will be questioned. Is it a black swan? Is it the U.S. government? Is it Putin, big bad boy Putin? Is it another group of people? Where's Anonymous in all this? What are they doing? The hacker group, the quote, I guess I wouldn't call them white hat hacker group, but if they're doing something which they think is against Russia, for the West, they might consider themselves white hat hackers, or good, the good guys on the side of good. What are they doing? Are they doing any of this? And when does this get out of control? And when does someone pull the trigger on something larger and say, that's it, I can't save face anymore, we need to act? And what does China do? China is looking at this and saying, there's no better time than now to go after Taiwan. U.S. has no interest in going against Russia, toe-to-toe with conventional weapons. But I think NATO and the U.S. in general are definitely aiding and assisting Ukraine, and Putin knows it. He knows it very well, and he's been threatening. There's been several threats so far, not only on the state television, but out of his own mouth. So at one point does he say, "That's enough. I've warned you. It's all out war now." So it's a serious situation, folks. You just need to be prepared. Get your hearts and your minds ready. Have food, water, communications, energy, solar, electricity of some sort of backup power, and whatever you need to defend yourself effectively. We need to prepare for these hard times that are coming, and just like Joseph did in Egypt, this is coming. We know it's coming. We read the end of the Bible, whether it's coming immediately or in 10 years. We know it's coming, so we need to prepare. So, folks, be prepared and get your hearts right with the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm going to post this Galilean wedding video, the prophetic timing of the rapture. And you can let me know in the comments what you think of it as well. Hopefully I'll post that tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.